weeks into my first year at Barnard College, one of my early new besties, Gwynnie Ann, turns to me and she says, would you like to come to spend our winter break with me and my family in Bogota? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I would like to do that. And so this is all very exciting. Phone calls start flying back and forth between Bogota and my parents in Philadelphia and me in New York. And the arrangement eventually gets made that I am going to spend Christmas in Philadelphia with my family. I will fly down to Bogota, spend most of January in Bogota with Gwynnie Ann and her family, and then she and I will fly straight back to New York for spring semester. So this is all great, and along the way, they're like, by the way, bring a ball gown. And I'm like, oh. And they're like, yeah, every New Year's Eve we throw a ball and everybody comes. And I'm like, great, allow me to just reach into my closet and look among my array of ball gowns, because obviously I have one of those and we all operate on the same level. But I get to go ball gown shopping, so this is fun. Again, all very exciting. By the time all of this gets wrapped up and the plans are made and plane tickets are bought, it's late October, early November. And then, because I am not really the youngest person walking this earth anymore, this is the fall of 1985. Which means that within a handful of days after these plans are solidified, there is a siege in Bogota on the Palace of Justice, executed by M19 Marxist guerrillas who have been funded by drug kingpin Pablo Escobar. And they kill 13 of the 25 ministers of justice, and then in the ensuing 2 days, there's a bomb and a fire, and 98 people die or disappear. And my parents get on the phone, and they're like, and the Clarksons say, listen, if you are not comfortable sending your daughter down here, we completely understand. Of course, we wouldn't be offended at all. But if Julie would still like to come, we would love to have her, and we know how to keep her safe. And my parents are like, would Julie still like to come? And I'm like, yeah. And God love my parents. On December 26th, they put me on a plane and sent me down to Bogota. And it was amazing. I had never been in a country that was warm in the winter before. I had never seen palm trees before. And we do the normal things, like we hang out, we go shopping, we go clubbing. Let me tell you what, as a little white girl with these hips, you want to go dance in fucking Latin America, they will love you. It is awesome. I'm having a blast. And like every once in a while we get driven around in this big black Mercedes that I did not ask, but I'm 100% certain was armored. It was like brawny, kind of. It was wild, but mostly it was pretty normal, and we're having all this fun, and like that. And also we're running with like sort of hoity-toity, because the ball that they had New Year's Eve when everybody comes, by everybody, they meant like Gwynnie Ann's father's best friend, who was currently the leading candidate for the presidency, and then in May won and became the president of the country. They were part of the Colombian political, financial, social elite, because that's who you are when you're born and raised in Bogota and you go to Barnard College. So Gwynnie Ann's dad he was a banker. He had been the minister of finance. Like, when they said everybody is coming to this ball, that's who they meant. So these are the people we're hanging out with, and I'm living in a whole new world, and it's amazing. Then we get sort of towards about a week or so before we're going to leave. And they turn to me, the Clarksons, they turn to me and they say, would you like to go see a bullfight? And a side note, bullfighting is mostly illegal now around the world. I think Spain is still hanging on. It should be illegal, but it wasn't them. And they were like, this is basically our national sport. And I was like, I want to see everything you want to show me. Like, turn out your country, show me everything you love best. That is what I want to see. Of course I want to go to this. So we made this plan. Gwynnie Ann and I are going to go to this bullfight. And a few days later, we're getting sort of toward the end of my stay here, and it's about an hour before bullfight time. And Winnie and I are sort of getting ready to go, and her parents come, and there is this guy with them. And they're like, you know, we thought about it, and bullfights, crowds are kind of rough, and you're just two girls, and you're kind of young, and we're just not sure it's the safest thing. And I should say that, like, Gwynnie Ann's father, their last name is Clarkson, because as an Anglophile name, because his dad, an Anglo name, because his father was a British banker, financier guy who had married a Colombian woman. And then Gwynnie Ann's father turned around and married this pale, white, blue-eyed lady from California. So Gwynnie Ann looked like a little blonde California girl. I had this face at 18, which looks like it fell off an apple cart in Iowa. And so they were like, yeah, you two alone at a bullfight is probably not a good idea. Julie, we're gonna send you with this guy. This guy is like 5'6", maybe 5'7". He's this scrawny little milk toasty, watery, blue-eyed guy who turns out to be their friend, the Episcopalian missionary priest. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I could kick the shit out of this guy. I don't know how this makes me safe. I grew up in Philadelphia in like a low-income, high-crime neighborhood. Our house was robbed 8 times in the first 10 years that we lived there. Both my brothers got mugged. They once broke down our back door with an axe and stole shit. My brothers and I, when I was growing up, we had a mugging action plan, which was that my brothers, while we were all being mugged, would get behind the mugger, make a little stirrup that you do when you put somebody up on a horse. I would step in it. They would get me behind our mugger. I would cover the mugger's eyes with my hands, and somehow we would all escape. I didn't say it was a good plan. I was 5. They were 7 and 9. The point you want to take away here is at the age of 5, 7, and 9, my brothers and I had a mugger response plan. This is the neighborhood I grew up in. We did not have dog hounds. So I'm looking at this priest, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy, but I don't want to be rude. And so I don't say anything, and we go to the bullfight, and I will say about the bullfight, it was brutal and terrible, and also there was a kind of beauty to it. I do not watch boxing, but I know that people who do say that there is that, they see beauty in that. I don't, but I get that they do, and that's what it was like. It was a remarkable experience. And so I came back home. That was an amazing experience. Gwynnie and I fly back to New York, and after that, it was wonderful, but I kept on telling for a while in bars. Like as a bar anecdote, I went to a bullfight with a priest is like a really solid opener. I would tell this story, but it would always be like, oh my God, and then I could kick the shit out of them. What were they thinking? And every time I said that, this little voice in my head was like, you're being a little asshole. Because these people were smart and sophisticated and generous. Like, they opened their home to me. Like, I was like, I have a blind, there's something I'm missing. I couldn't figure it out. And so I started to tell that anecdote less and less because I felt just gross about being snotty. And eventually it just went away, and I sort of forgot about the whole thing. Fast forward like 25 years, we're in the pandemic. I'm sitting in my apartment, alone, desolate, looking for TV to watch. I flip on Narcos. You know, the docudrama about Pablo Escobar in Bogota in the 1980s. And I'm watching this, and particularly I'm watching in the first season an arc about a character named Marta Ochoa, who is the sister of like in a very, very prominent wealthy family. And I'm watching it in a scene where a car pulls up and yanks her off the street and takes her away and holds her for ransom. And I'm watching this TV show, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, the final piece sort of fell in, and it took me a second. But Gwynnie Ann Clarkson's dad had been the Minister of Finance. Her picture would show up on the front page of the paper when she came home from boarding school, like walking down the street. She was like an Obama kid, right? And my brain is just exploding because I was like, oh my God. They didn't send me to the bullfight with that guy. They sent me not with their daughter, the kidnapped target. And I was like, that is not a thing that I had any kind of truck with, like any kind of template for. And that was the missing piece. And it just sort of blew me wide open because they told my parents that they knew how to keep me safe. And they made possible for me one of the most remarkable experiences I will ever have, while keeping me just wrapped in this layer, this invisible cocoon of safety that I, for 30 years, never even knew was there. Thank you.